All right. What's up, everybody? All right. ADHD sales legends. All right. So, Corey, I was browsing through the den. You've already showed me this, but is that testimonial from Roger Wakefield, who is, I mean, he's a hell of a guy. I think most people know who he is. Maybe that's just because, I have a blue collar background. You work with people in the trade. So like, we know how much of a badass this guy is, but he's probably the most famous plumber next to like Mario in the world. Right. And of course he's been on your show, and you met him, and he has this glowing testimonial as you as a sales speaker and a sales coach that you were sharing. And dude, I have to preach a little bit this morning. So let me just get a apology ahead of time in there is I think that I am like this. I know that you're like this. So this is a little peer-to-peer pressure, right? Positive peer pressure, a little coaching moment. That's what you need friends to do for you. And this is definitely a coaching moment for everybody that listens to the show. Is that you've had great traction working in the trades and specifically working with plumbers, right? Electricians, yes, but yeah, plumbers. You've had great clients who are in specifically this thing. And here's the deal, is that as long as you spread yourself thin and you say, I've got all these things that I do for people at all these different levels, and I can help anybody, because sales is like anything, right? I'll tell you this, is that I think sales doesn't exist.
I would agree, actually.
Because it is so ubiquitous. It's so everywhere. It's like air. It might as well not exist because it is in everything. It is nothing, right? Let's not get down to a philosophical rabbit hole, but that's why everybody that's listening to this show, that's why me get wrapped up in thinking like, oh, we could just do this and do this and do this, because we have this Swiss Army knife that we've developed of sales knowledge. But as long as you're a mile wide and an inch deep, you are forced to play small. You are forced to be smaller than you deserve to be and less powerful than you are, right? Because everything that you want in life is in depth, not breadth. You get to meet cool people doing lots of cool stuff when you're an expert in the one thing, when you're top of mind in one location. You think like, man, I want to do all these cool projects with cool people. That will happen. You think Roger Wakefield doesn't get to do cool projects with cool people?
Definitely.
Of course
people
he does.
Knocking down his door to do projects with him. I'm sure.
Of course. And when you think of him, you think of plumbing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think of content. I think of great sales. I think of awesome mustaches. I think of other things. I mean, that guy puts Wilford Brimley to shame, right? The Quaker.
Yeah. So one thing I loved about Roger is that him and I agree literally we agreed on everything in terms of like sales process, in terms of how you go into asking for the product or asking for the sale, all through it, because his wife is actually sailor trained. So here's why I bring that up, and I think this is why I'm extremely good at what I do, because as we were talking before, I bring an outside perspective to the trades. I'm not a plumber. I've never plumbed a day in my life. In fact, I had to call a plumber yesterday. And so I had a good conversation with him. And I'll tell you, I'm going to veer off for a second. Just remind me about the plumber. I'll tell you the story about that in a second.
Anyhow, you're opening up like two. Let's go.
It's kind of like that mile wide and inch deep kind of thing. Yeah. That's what I'm doing here. Anyhow, so, I bring an outside perspective to the trades. And I think that is exactly why I can go in and change the direction of their sales team, their technicians, their whatever they call them. And to your point, all of us are salespeople. All of us are salespeople. And so yesterday I asked the technician, I said, what is it you're fixing? And I asked him for a reason. And I can't remember what he said. Something that I flange or something I didn't really know what it was. And that's the second time I've been in front of like a plumber and a customer or in my scenario. the point is one of the things that I really bring to the table is the fact people use crazy terminology. You're guilty of this in your industry because you talk to really high level people,
You
right?
don't even
So
know a half of it, man.
you're probably right.
Contracting and manufacturing, we're acronym kings.
Right. So like, and that's cool when you're talking to them, right? But it's not cool if you were going to talk that way right now to the audience because they wouldn't get it. My point is, the guy yesterday, named off whatever it was, and I said, "Oh, it's just that ring around the thing." He was like, "Yeah, it's just the ring around the thing." He was like, and so my point is like, that's how normal people, not plumbers, need to understand what these things are. So when you use industry terminology, you may think you sound cool, but really you're losing the person you're talking to.
So you talk to the plumber and you're like, hey, so you talk to him about plumbing. Did you ping him and tell him that you knew like his favorite celebrity online? Did you tell him Roger's been on the show?
Oh yeah, I showed him the video. He almost fell out of his van, dude. He couldn't believe it. He was like, "You got to be kidding me, dude!" It's like, we watch this guy all the time. I'm like, yeah. I know, every plumber does.
Yeah. So here's my point. That I want people to make and to pull away from this, because now I'm doing product sales, and like we have the same issues that people want to make products that appeal to a wide group of people, and they want to sell them to as many people as possible. But by trying to go for as wide of an audience as possible, they actually sell to less people, right? If you're watching the stream, you can see me do cool things with my hands. Otherwise, you have to imagine that really it is this converse, this formula where you think like, I'm going to go and sell it to everybody, and you can't make any traction. You can't be the expert in everything or be everywhere and really get that depth. So I look at salespeople and just business people in general, and I know that I used to push this to the far end of my coaching, where we would figure out where we could place a product, right? Where we could place a service where it had the highest value. But now it's the second thing that we do. First thing is, of course, laying out intentionality, our goals, like aligning our actions to our actual goals, right? So little bit of mindset piece. But the second thing is to just pick a customer, and I have my little strategy for it. But this is the problem, is that I see every coach online, I see every business that's starting, is they can't answer who their customer is. They're just like, oh, people that need my product, right? We talked about this the other week, is when I ask people what problem they solve, they say people that need my product. Like, right. I 100% know that you're going to fail. 100%. There is a 0 chance of your success until you can evolve past that question, until you can answer this question. But like, imagine you're chasing everybody around all over the place, right? Once you line up who you are and who you serve, you can find out a problem that you really solve, the thing that you really sell, that you're differentiated, and you will flip the entire universe on its head. People will chase after you. You will be the expert. Or we've been in calls, and people are like, they're looking at some of my stats, and then I tell them like, look, I actually turn down 90% of people that want to work with me, because they think that I need to put out tons of SEO, or I have to put out articles or write a book or do this thing. And I say, no, you don't understand. Like I already turned down 9 out of 10 qualified people that want to work with me, right? Just because they're already coming through referrals, word of mouth, right? I do like a really, really niche thing. So like I've just seen this firsthand, and I've transported that to people, and we're working on this. That's why we have ADHD sales legends, not like 2 sales dudes or whatever.
So I think, Kelly, though, that a lot of people, one thing that, and I struggled with, and still sometimes even struggle with, being spread too thin amongst multiple industries, because well, as it turns out, I've worked in a bunch of industries.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and it's just, it is what it is. And so, but I think what happens over time, and I guess you could say as you get older, and people that are listening to this are younger, they're like, you're fucking two old ass dudes.
Yeah.
Anyway, it comes with time when you start to realize the whole niche idea. I think it comes with experience. It comes with trying 1,000 things and failing at all 1,000, right? And I think that it's really hard for people to understand this because, well, we always think we know better, right, than most people. Right? And it's really, for me, it was really hard to comprehend this. But you're a great example of super fucking niche. And I'm an example, if I say I'm a sales coach, of being not niche at all, right?
Right.
But if I say, I come in and I transform your plumbing staff, your sales team, your technicians. Well, how do you do that? Well, we come in and we change the language, we change their whatever, right? I could go down the whole list of things. And here's the problem. People just don't know these things are out there. And that's okay. They're not supposed to know everything I know. And people are not supposed to know everything you know. That's why we get hired.
This is why I have a business. Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, the more times you do it and the more times you do something similar, that's how you develop expertise. That's what Alan Weiss says, right? In $1 Million Consultant, is that you develop expertise because you're drilling the same hole every day. Okay. This is the thing, is when I talk about launching products, designing products, launching product businesses, right? And people ask me, have you done a product similar to this? At this point, I'm like, yeah, I probably have. But at first, I had to explain to them, look, I've been drilling the same hole my whole life, right?
Yeah.
This is the thing, is that once you get down deep into it and you start looking, you say, well, Callie does a bunch of different things. No, I don't. It's all the same thing over and over again. I help people go through that, launch and grow product businesses. That's all it is. It's just that you might look at it and say, oh, he's got a manufacturing company. Oh, he's got a couple product companies. Oh, he has a coaching business. Yeah. Doing what?
Same fucking thing.
The same fucking thing. It's just that as I go deeper, right, that hole gets a little bit wider. I get all these other skills. I developed so many physical products that have software that I have software teams. I've launched so many products that I have good marketing teams, right? It's not that I have a marketing company. It's just that I've drilled the same stupid hole, right?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And like, this is the thing, is like, it's really tempting to just jump around or to see, like, people are like, well, Elon Musk, he does a bunch of different things. I'm like, actually, he really doesn't. He doesn't. He's told people over and over and over again what his business is in building innovation infrastructure. He's actually building manufacturing businesses. That's what it is. The product is a way to finance him building factories. The factories are the product, right? He said it 2 years ago, 5 years ago. He said it last week at the Innovation Rodeo, but people they're too dumb. They're focused on the car and not what this guy's actually saying. He's saying the factory is the product. I'm going to change the world by learning how to build factories that build innovation. I'm going to build companies that build innovation. This is what I'm actually building, is the infrastructure for a new reality, not the actual thing that you see. But people see this and they say, oh man, he's making a car. He has a solar company. He has a boring company. They don't realize that it's all in the same, it's the same stupid thing.
And they all feed each other.
They all feed each other.
And so that's the other part to that, right? Like and that's just a smart way to set everything up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's too stupid for you to have a cookie company and a landscaping company. Why wouldn't you? Right? I mean, that would be a terrible idea.
Well, unless you can prove to me that they're going to use the same type of back-end admin innovation infrastructure, it doesn't make sense. But when I launch a product company and I just use the same engineering team that I use as a consulting company, that I use as a manufacturer, on the outside, it looks like 3 different companies. On the inside, it's the same admin team. It's the same engineering team. It's the same supply chain team. It's the same. It's basically the same company.
And is it, and I don't know the answer to this, but is it possible that it's also been, I would assume it's beneficial to have that same team working on all three projects, because I would imagine you get a hell of a lot more output from the teams.
Yeah, I get to use the services more. And you've seen this with services that we use. Is like I start them off, and then generally if I work with somebody, I end up absorbing all of their time. But like they,
What do you mean?
like if I, let's say that I hired you for sales, right? And we started going, and I'd be like, Corey, I got another thing for you to sell. I got another client for you. I got another client, until you're just like, fuck him. This guy's has me selling 30 hours a week. He's like, I'm making money, but like, I thought this was going to be a part-time gig. This is like, because it's in depth is what I want to say. It was what I want to tell you is that in focus, then we have a lot of power to go. We have a lot of place to go to. Like, think of it like this, Corey. I'll dial this all the way back. I want to close the loop on this. Is like, if you just said, I'm just going to focus on plumbers, right? I'm going to hit that same hole. I'm going to drill that same hole. Well, who gets paid more, an oil company for boring a hole, or the guy that drills a hole in a 2x4 for your house, right?
We'll go with the oil guy.
Yeah. Okay. So like the difference is that when you get really good at that same place, that means that you're going to know all the special things about plumbing companies. You're probably going to know a special accounting team that focuses just on plumbing. You're going to know a special, like the way the bookkeeping works the best. You're not going to even have to do it. You're just going to say, I have a great contact for this. Let me just plug this into your business. Boom. They're already more successful. You haven't even told them any secrets yet.
Really, what you're talking about here, Callie, is that, what you're saying is like, you can do the thing faster because of the experience, the knowledge,
connection.
And that's really what we're talking about. Exactly. Like,
yeah.
you just have that, you've built that foundation, if you will. Absolutely.
Yeah. And so understand that, let's bring it to the trades, is that the main problem in the trades, number one problem, and I've lived this. I grew up in a manufacturing company, so I know this inherently true, is that the people that run a trades business, they're experts at tradesmen. They're an expert at the trade. They are not an expert at running a trades business. Okay.
Correct.
So when you come in and you say, I don't know what you know, it doesn't matter, because you know how to run the business. They know how to actually do the thing, right? They actually know how to be a plumber. They don't know how to be a plumbing company owner. And those skill sets are they're barely overlapping at all.
Dude. Yeah. So look, here's the thing. Well, just imagine this for a second. If you're a plumber, you listen to this. How much more money would you make if you didn't have to stress the fuck out about all the shit you have to stress out about in business, because you just don't know? And again, we're not calling you stupid. You're not supposed to know, right? They don't teach you this stuff. I didn't get taught this stuff. I learned this through a lot of fucking losing a whole bunch of money through a bunch of different businesses, and a lot of pain and a lot of struggle. And guess what? Now people can benefit from that. But the other side of that is, I benefit from that because I get paid for the knowledge that I have, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, and so that's what you're bringing to the table. When you focus, the amount of value that you can provide on that focus it's not 10x, it's 100,000x, right? Because over time you develop true expertise. But when you go, so I know that we have a lot of coaches that listen to the show and that are in the group, and we'll talk about how to join the group a little later. But this is why coaches suck, dude. You suck, and I'm going to tell you this thing. And I have friends that I've been telling this for a year, and they're like, yeah, but Tony Robbins does all these extra things. I'm like, oh, I didn't know you were fucking Tony Robbins.
I'm going to go from couch potato to Tony Robbins all in one fucking day.
Even his legs aren't that long to make that jump. Come on, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, no, thank you. But if you dial back the clock on your favorite coach, they probably started as a car salesman, right? Then they sold in the car industry. Then they started learning more about sales, and then they're Grant Cardone, right? They started by buying a property, renting a property, start rehabbing property, and then they're teaching other people how to do it, and then they're teaching people about real estate, and then real estate investment, and then they're an investment person, right? There is this journey where you're drilling the same hole, right? And you can put your little eye on that in the distance to say, I want to be known for this. I want to be the #1 investment coach in the world. And you can reverse engineer, draw a line back to where you are and say, I want to do these things. But you're not going to be that person by skipping the steps. There's no ad structure. There's no scam marketing technique. There's no amount of crappy fake Amazon #1 best-selling books that you're going to write that are going to magically change the number that's in your bank account. Because I'm like I said, I'm going to get a little preachy on this. You don't give a shit about your customers. You don't give a shit. All you care about is yourself. And as a coach, you only can care about the value that you drive, right? Not the information that you give, but the value that is created by your customer. That means that you inherently have to care about how they execute. You can't say the dumb shit that I hear, like, oh, I gave them so much value and they didn't do anything with it. And so it sounds like you're a crappy coach to me, because value is created by the customer. It's not created by you. And you think about this would be like a plumber where you put the pipe in, the person doesn't know how to flush the toilet.
Right.
If like the poop doesn't go away, it doesn't matter how fancy the thing is that you did, right? So like what you sold them, the system didn't work, but you're like, yeah, but I did my part of it. I sold them 5 videos that they could watch, and then they're still not millionaires, so that's not my fault. It's because you don't care. You're not focused on a specific group of people that you love and respect, and you're not focused, right? And you're hopping from one opportunity to the next because you're like, oh, I couldn't get any traction there. I couldn't get any traction there. I couldn't get any traction there. It's because you don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right. Or your ADHD could be that too. I mean, look, right? I mean, like, this is a real thing, dude. We have both gone through this to a degree, but you learn, right? You learn your lesson after you jump into a couple of 3 or 5 or 10 things for me, and you realize, man, like, how long do these things last? Oh, about 3-4 months. Oh, were they successful? No, not really. Did you get close? Maybe. Did you quit early? Yep. Right.
Yeah. Okay. So if you're already a fan of Alex Hormozy, that's great. But if you're ADHD, you might have skipped this initial lesson that's in the book. It's on his YouTube over and over again because you skipped it because you wanted to watch the How to Become a Billionaire by Age 30 video. And you skip ahead where he says the same thing every time, right? If you're in business, pick one customer, right? One offer. And for us as products, we say like this one problem that we're solving, one product offer, one product offering. It might be like 5 products that could be used in conjunction, could be bundled. Let's not get too deep into that. But one customer, one product, one channel. Okay, one way to reach customers. This is the ultimate solution to end all entrepreneurial ADHD.
Clarify the channel portion for everybody, just so everybody's clear.
Like this is like, I'm going to reach customers like this. This is my main strategy for doing it. You write that and like,
give us a deeper example.
Oh my God. Like so we might need a whole nother show next week to talk about marketing ADHD, but everybody's selling this little golden ticket. And they're not even Willy Wonka, right? But they're selling a golden ticket and saying, oh, like it's influencer marketing. Oh, it's Facebook groups. Oh, it's Facebook ads. Oh, it's TikTok. Oh, it's this. And we as ADHD entrepreneurs are like, this guy said that works. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to go over here. Guess what? Dude, just like dieting, guess what? They all work. They all work. But just like dieting, dude, if you follow 3 diets, you're just going to get fat.
It's
It's not gonna work for you, man. Right?
Right.
Okay. So this is the problem. You pick one channel and you say, this is going to be my channel strategy. You might have a different distribution strategy. We can talk about omnipresence or reusing content or whatever, but you're going to say, this is how I'm going to initially acquire customers. And until you can afford for somebody else to hit other channels, until you can afford for somebody else to help you push out different products, until you've saturated the market. People are always like, I've saturated my market. I'm like, you have a $1 trillion market. You have like a $50,000 business. Like, I don't think you've saturated the market. You just suck. Right. So, they're like, yeah, there's nobody that needs toilets in my entire area.
Market saturation is not doing a shitty job and not getting business. That is not
Everybody
market
pooped
saturation.
last month, right? They're not pooping this month. Nobody needs plumbing. It's like, yeah, I hear it from realtors. I hear it from product people all the time. They're like, yeah, nobody's buying this anymore. I'm like, not true. Like, not accurate, right? There's several brands just dominating your market. But like, look, that's dude, one customer. Who's your customer? And they're like, everybody. I'm like, that's not one group. If you can't figure out a Facebook group that these people are in, like 5 influencers that they follow, the special name that they call themselves, it's not a customer. It's just like a wish list, right? So like one specific customer, one product offering. And product offering is like, I do this for you, or I do this, help you achieve this in this time frame. That's an offer. Even physical products are like that. I'm selling you an identity change, right? You're going to feel this way. You're going to look this way. People are going to love you like this. You're going to feel like this about yourself. It's going to help you jump faster, run faster. It's going to help you whatever. That's a product offer. And one channel is like, for me, I have my little simple marketing strategy. Bring people onto a show. I interview them. They share it out with their audience. I'm using my podcast as my central hub. And I do little things to attract people onto that email list. I nurture them using the show and a little bit of content, and I just keep them warm. And in my case, for years. And what that does is, and Corey, I'll tell you this, because you're big on word of mouth and follow-up, right? Is most of my customers, this is mind-blowing, right? Aren't even the people that are on that list.
That is mind-blowing.
They're the people that are referred to by the people on the list.
They're the people that say that again.
So like, let's just say I got 1,000 people on that list.
Right.
All right. I send out an email, about 300 of them will open it up. Right. My podcast is getting 16,000 downloads a month, something like that. Right. So
Fantastic.
it's all right. Right. It's pretty good. Now, when somebody schedules a call with me or emails me, only sometimes do they say, hey, I've listened to the podcast for a long time. What they would say is, hey, my buddy X listens to your podcast. He sent me this episode. I'd like to talk to you about how we can work together.
Badass.
So this is the secret, and everybody is missing, but your strategy might look different. This is just my strategy, is that I nurture my audience forever, right? So my strategy is really simple. I stopped posting on Instagram. I don't post on TikTok. I don't have an email newsletter. I don't do a whole lot of things that other people do. I do have a little Facebook group, but primarily we have this strategy. I can link our audience to I mapped it out for everybody. I showed them why they're paying too much to get clients and why I pay zero or almost nothing for clients. Quick little strategy, but I just do that same thing over and over and over and over again. And because I know it can scale and it eliminates 90% of the effort of doing it. But if I got really big, I would do something else. Right. But for right now, I just the one customer, one offer, right? We just talked about this. My mastermind's closed. Just have the one. I have 2 one-on-one coaching clients, but I fired everybody else. We're just going to do group coaching.
But let's be clear as to why you're doing that, because it's not worth the time to do the one-on-one.
I mean, I really enjoy it, dude. But like, you take on the stress of somebody's business, and I just realized, like, oh, somebody else is paying me, let's be honest, 10, 20 times as much to do that work. And I'm actually doing it as a consultant. And then, I
with no stress because you're the consultant.
Right. Yeah. Well, because I do it, so, I mean, it has a different flavor of stress, but yeah, somebody's paying me $70,000 to do this thing, and the other person's paying me, $2,500 a month. Like, but like, I love it. That's why I do it. But like, yeah, for the most part, I was like, I'm going to open up group coaching. I think you're better served with group coaching. If you ever have any questions, I'll just shoot a video. I'll send it to you. But like, they kind of just wanted information. Like, how do I do this? How do I do that?
Well, I think it's really important too, because you just, I think you just, I don't know if we could talk about it yet, but you just have decided to also add something pretty fucking badass to the group coaching portion.
Yeah. I mean,
the access.
Yeah. So like, I'm kind of changing the model of how I view the group coaching thing, is that, you get the content, you see this stuff is like, and I ran it too. I ran Misfit Brand Academy, which is now just Academy, because I'm like literally reducing the complexity of everything. It's just Academy. And the idea is that
might still be too much.
You graduate Academy, right? You graduate away where you don't need me, or you graduate into the mastermind. It just makes sense, right? It's called Academy.
Yeah.
And you get access to all the information, but you get access to the information forever, and you get access to the group coaching forever. That's the difference. So it's like one-time payment to get the material. So instead of saying like, oh, it's a 10 weeks and it turns it on, turns it off, or you have access to this course, you'll have access to the sessions for life, right? And I think that's important, because then you're more inclined to then move on. But like everything else, see, that's one offer, is all I'm saying, is like, I've identified for that business exactly who my customer is, and I can tell you in deep detail who they are, how much money they make, what they feel like, what problems that they've had. And we've done that by talking to hundreds of people. And I know the one offer, and I know what I'm offering them, what I'm going to show them. And I have my one channel to do it. And here's the magic of this, is that if that channel wasn't working, I would change the channel. I wouldn't try 2 channels.
Right.
And this is the problem, is like, or you get hit up all the time, more than anybody else that I know, where somebody's like, dude, you should be doing this. You should be doing this. And it all sounds
every one of them. I always sound good, right? Every single time. But you got to stay focused, and it's, for especially people with ADHD, it's really hard. You mentioned something else a second ago. Damn it, I think I missed it, or I forgot it. But yeah, I don't remember what it was.
Well, this is the thing, is like, we talk about ADHD into a superpower, right? Let's bring this home. I want you to take all that energy that's scattered, and take that scattered energy and direct it into a line. Now, imagine if every time that you got that feeling where you needed to go do something new, you needed that novelty, right? You needed to hit that button, that you went out and you learned more about plumbing sales. You learned more about plumbing systems. You learned more about everything that your customer does. You said, hey, I want to do an on-site day. I want to go there. I want to shadow your team. What if everything that you looked at, you put on a lens where you said, I want to be customer centric. I'm obsessed with my customer. I want to look at all those different things. I want to look at SEO. I want to look at TikTok. I want to look at all these things, but I want to focus them like a laser beam onto my one customer. Dude, you would be unreal, because now, not to get too nerdy, there's this thing where you're balancing exploring new things and exploiting things that work. Explore, exploit is a decision science. It's a decision science algorithm, something that's used in computer science a lot, sorting algorithms. But
what the hell does all that mean?
Is like when you let's say that you're at a restaurant, right? And you know that this one thing at this one restaurant is delicious, right? Well, there's a certain kind of people that will just never eat anything else. There's like chicken tenders, French fries. I'm going to eat that at the same restaurant every single day. And dude, there's nothing wrong with that. But as sure as hell, you're not going to be an entrepreneur with that kind of attitude, right? So
yeah, now that I think about it, it's not exactly true for me, but go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so you think about this is that you're going to find something that really works for you and you're going to stick with it, right? That's exploit. And it's really important to find things that work. There's a certain amount of time where you got to try something new. And like, there's a lot of people that they're just in the business of trying new stuff all the time. Right. So they never get any traction. They're just like, they're like on ice skates.
Hamster on a wheel.
Hamster on a wheel, right? And then there's other people that are like, I want to do the safe thing and I never want to explore anything. So somewhere in that mix is your flavor thing that'll work for you. And you have to explore new stuff like as somebody with ADHD, that is what's driving you. You need some kind of like something different.
Dopamine hit.
Yeah, dopamine hit. But imagine if every time that went, you just close the loop. You bring it back. You put it through that focal point of your customer instead of yourself.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, dude, you would be so powerful. So like, as you're looking at all these things and people are bombarding you and saying like, oh dude, SEO is fantastic. And you're like, can you do local SEO for like tradespersons? And they say, yeah. And you're like, oh, great. Can you show me a demo for that? Cool. You have like a mock-up site of what that would look like? Cool. Great. And then you exploit it, right? So every time you're hit with that explore notion, that distraction, you dial it back, you bring it back, focus it in, and then you say, how can this serve the people that I love and respect?
Be very careful if they say yes to all those questions super quickly.
$100 and I'll show you.
Right. Don't worry about it. It's, you know what? You're going to see the results in a few months. Just hang tight. Just pay me. We're good.
Like that guy turned into a shadow and disappeared immediately.
Damnedest thing. Like, seemed like a great guy. I don't know what happened.
He was very happy with me.
Jesus Christ. It drives me insane, dude. I'll tell you, this is going to be so interesting, by the way. You referred somebody to me for my show. Here's what's fucking hilarious. The guy didn't remember that you referred him to, you referred him to my show.
Okay.
We're talking. And in the first time I talked to him, he did it such a good way. I was like, there's no way I can't have you on the show. He just booked the time on my calendar to ask me to be on the show. And I'm like, dude, you're the only one. By the way, don't do that if anybody's listening, because I will get really upset if that happens too many times. But it was like he took a different approach. My point is, or here's where I was headed. The first time I spoke to him, I said, hey, dude, you need to get up my boy Callie, because you guys can do some shit together. He's like got a cold email company. And it sounds like he understands cold email well better than anybody I've ever talked to. Sounds like. I mean, this guy's making it work. And so what was funny though is I referred him to you after you had referred him to me, and he didn't remember. And then he put it together the other day when we did the show. He's like, oh, by the way, I said, hey, did you get a chance to look at Callie's stuff? He's like, oh yeah, by the way, that's the guy that referred me to you. I'm like, oh.
Yeah. He wanted to be on End Hype, and I was like, no, we're pretty dialed in. I like having, basically I like having my clients on there, but I like having people that are product business founders. So
yeah,
as much as
he's a sales guy.
Yeah, right. He's a sales guy, and I'm like, nah, because then it really is me co-signing on that. And like, if I'm gonna have a sales guy, I'm just gonna have you on the show. You know what I'm saying? Right. I'm gonna have somebody that's in our community on the show. Like, and so I get at least a cold email every other day for somebody to be on that type. But like, yeah, he seemed legit. So I was like, yeah, you should just be on a sales show. You shouldn't be on a show that's about, product development and selling product. I mean, it doesn't make any sense, but
Isn't it fascinating though? I mean, did you know that there were companies that legitimately understood and could navigate literally cold lists and make them work?
yeah, there's a couple ways to do it, because getting emails now is so easy, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think of it. I mean, I take a different tact with it, because you think like you and me. So you as a sales coach, you think, how many clients could I possibly take right now? Like, even in a group coach, 20. Let's say 20 would be pretty hard to really serve them, especially to just write off. So let's say 20 is like the most you could possibly do it. But then people look at these lists and they say, man, I got to get 1,000,000 people and email them. I'm like, dude, but you don't like your throughput, right? The amount that you could do doesn't support that marketing channel.
Right.
That marketing.
What would happen? Yeah. So what would happen?
Well,
yeah.
I mean, let's put a positive spin on it. You do like I do with my mastermind. You just say it's closed. Like, it's closed.
Yeah,
I'm not taking any more clients, right?
Well, yeah, but like, what's the worst thing? All right, it fills up with 100 people, and then what happens?
You can't
look like an idiot.
You look
right.
like an idiot. Yeah, absolutely.
You fail.
Yeah, so that's my problem with a lot of these marketing techniques, is that they're selling you something that is, one, like we're talking about, it's unfocused. They're like, yeah, it's a focused list. And I'm like, it's not like a big brand builder. But let's say if it did work, like they said, if it did work, you'd go out of business. You'd damage your brand, right?
Well, if you didn't structure it right, for sure.
Yeah, for sure, right? So
you just scale it whichever way. If you need 20 people, you need to figure out how many fucking emails you need for 20 people, not 1,000,000 emails if you only need 300,000.
Right. Yeah. Right. And so, for me, and I'll break this down later after I do it, and we could do a show on this, is like, I take my channel, right? And then I say, you've heard this. I don't know if I've talked about this on the show, but I break it down like this. You only need to do 2 things when you're launching a business: is get attention and nurture the attention, right? And when you're ready to scale, you're a little bit farther down. You need the third thing, which is you need to be able to turn that nurturing into a word of mouth. You need a support, right? So let's just say that people are obsessed with this, but a support strategy is really important. But this is your entire marketing strategy. It's attention, nurture, support, right? So my nurture is where my content lives forever and where people can continue to do that. So I do these live streams. I save them. I have a hidden website where people can access them. It's like its own private show that people get.
Is it like a dark web website?
Yeah, it's dark web. You guys have an onion. You got to get past all the crypto MLM
to get there.
Yeah, and you get some product out of it. But like, yeah, you just nurture those people, and when I think of those strategies, like we're gonna do an email strategy, using other people's email lists. So not cold email, but I get other people to email out, hey, check this out. Then we're gonna have a viral giveaway that's gonna get me attention. But the real property is that I get people on the list and then I just nurture them. I'm not even gonna sell them anything. I don't really have something to sell. I want them to listen to the podcast. I want them to join the Facebook group. I want them to engage, keep me top of mind, refer me, get guests on the show, all of that stuff. And believe it or not, without really asking somebody to do something, that generates a lot of sales. But it's just attention, and then it's just nurturing. And we talked to a bunch of people, and the marketing people, they're like the underpants gnomes from South Park. They're like, first we spam the people, then question mark, and then profit. I'm like, what's the question mark part? And they're like, first we spam the people. I'm like, so if he knows about cold email marketing, that's fantastic. But you bring it back and you say, focus. Like, is my current strategy for my current people not working? right? Oh, it is working, but I just needed to put more effort into it. Well, why would putting less effort into it and then doing a half-ass effort on a second thing or a third thing or fourth thing make me successful? So now I'm doing like a quarter ass effort when it's like, on four things, it's the
Scale and
same,
mediocrity.
yeah. You're signing up for increased mediocrity.
Yeah. And pain.
And pain. Yeah, it sucks.
Dude. Like, it's just not a smart move.
Yeah.
It's just not. I don't know, but people do it all the time. And they this
has been a great episode. What I want people to do, because I could just tell you to focus, and that's kind of a stupid thing for our group of people. Right? Hey man, just focus. I want you to do,
pay more attention,
is use the first of several lenses. It's a discipline lens, and you only need to focus one thing, is alignment, right? I'm not asking you to stop looking at all those shiny balls, stop learning about marketing or learning about sales. Like, by all means, develop an unbelievable killer skill set, but bring it back and focus it on that one point. Say, how will this serve my people?
That's it.
And when you can ask yourself that one question over and over again, you'll get really good. This is the reticular activating system. You will start seeing opportunities around there. You will start filtering the things that are holding you back, and you will start uncovering opportunities that you couldn't see before, that you can align and you can drill the hole deeper. You can go in depth because you're going to focus. And I don't need to use the word focus. I need to use that word alignment. It's that all you're saying is, how does this serve my people? Not how does it serve me, because you'll trick yourself every time. Be like, it serves me because the donut is delicious, right? How does it serve my customer? And through that, you will grow. You can only grow as a combination of the value that other people derive from what you have. If you're a business or a coach, you make money because other people value what you have to sell. You make a little bit of that money and you accumulate it. That's how it works. So if you pour more value into that same bucket, you're going to get more value back. It's reciprocity, but of actual capitalists.
And look, if you are a coach and you are struggling to get clients, if you're struggling to keep clients, guess what? You're not providing the value. I hate to say that, but it's just the fucking truth. You're not. It's just like if I go on a discovery call, and I'm talking with someone, and we go on our second call, and I pitch them, and for whatever reason, they don't move forward. Whose fault is that? Well, I did something wrong because I didn't provide them what they wanted. If I had of, we would be working together.
It's either the
So
wrong.
what did I do wrong?
Right.
That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But you got to look at it that way. You can't. You got to look at, well, what did you do? Right. You have a part we have a part in every decision that's made. Right. And you got to take responsibility for that. And guess what? You're going to get better focusing on these things.
You want credit, you have to take responsibility.
That's right. Inspect what you expect. Yep. All right. Thank you, brother.
Thank you.